Thanks for staying with us. Now, Nigeria is the most populous black nation on earth. Now, it is home to the second largest film industry on the globe, whilst also being the fashion, technological, and creative hub of Africa. Nigerians are known for their vibrant and friendly energy expressed through diverse creative expressions. Now, income inequality is one of Nigeria's most serious but least talked about challenges. Reports shows that at least over 86 million people live in extreme poverty in Nigeria, and these numbers keep rising by the day. Yet, what we all witnessed or we saw over the weekend in Oba, where it was literally raining money in all currencies, begs the question, how much is too much when showing of affluence, and how much is this show of affluence or flamboyance impacting the Nigerian youth? That's our conversation tonight. Now, please let us hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-84663. Who do I come to first? I don't understand. Uti. If he says I should come to you, like when you, because I was ill over the weekend. Honestly, I was not on social media. I didn't even know what was happening. It was yesterday, and I started seeing. So I was just wondering, because I saw videos of Kanayo popping up and saying that, oh, all the girlfriends there in Oba. Exactly. That anybody that tells you that I'm going to go and visit my mom or something, I know that the person is in Oba and all of that. Yeah. So I was not wondering what was going on until I went on social media. My mouth was literally open. Clamped shut. So, Uti, let me hear your initial thoughts when this burial of, I think Obi Cubana, that's his name. Yes. You know, when the burial happened and all the show of flamboyance and all of that happened. I mean, what came to your mind?
So, let me tell the truth. Clearly, I spent different kind of time on social media because I didn't see none of it. So we have to talk about it today. but I mean, look, this is just one of so many celebrity type events where money is being spent in an absolute, I mean, I think flamboyance is a bit of an understatement. I must look up, I think while we're on, I think I'm going to Google the dictionary definition of flamboyant, whether it's actually possible to be more flamboyant than flamboyant. Yes. Because I think that Nigerians, we're just taking it to a worldwide level. I mean, we're known for it worldwide. We're known for our flamboyance worldwide. We're known for doing things in a big way. And we are seeing it. We're seeing the reality of it in our culture. Yes. It's becoming the mainstay, and it is creating more and more problems. So when I think of this trajectory, in the good old days, maybe in the 80s, somebody dies, you put a canopy outside your house, you put a couple of canopies, or if you live near a field, you put a canopy there, or, you know, canopies. We've always had big events. And so this is not to say that we've always been party people in Nigeria. And burials has always been one of the biggest, you know. Sometimes you try to think which one competes between burials and weddings. But these have always been the biggest kind of events that Nigerians throw. So in that sense, that has always been part of our culture to really celebrate and do death in a flamboyant way compared to maybe our counterparts in other countries. But we've transitioned now. In fact, all our event types in Nigeria have transitioned. And we've now gone to an exponential level where he's being buried in a gold-plated casket that is reported to cost 30 million naira. And we start to hear all these numbers being thrown around. I think there's something like 300 cows, 100 goats gifted. You know, committee of friends is not a new thing in Nigeria, raising, I think, reportedly about 280 million. I mean, these are sums that make your eyes water. In the grand scheme of today, where people are looking for 1,000 naira to eat, it sounds crazy. And again, this is not like me saying, oh, you can't bury your parents or your mother in grand style or whatever it is that you want to do. I will circle back around to some of the questions that I've seen asked. And my first question was, please forgive my ignorance. Who is he? Like, when you say Jeff Bezos, he flying into space, or when you say Richard Branson, he flying into space, these men don't need no introduction. But clearly, I'm not up on Nigerian pop culture because I don't know who he is. That may be bad for me. I mean, that may just be me, but maybe you guys know more about him. But who is he? What does he do? How does he make this much money?
I have
Some
no
people might
idea.
say, oh, but it's not your business. You know, I think I want to argue that things started to go wrong culturally when we stopped asking questions. That's where I think I saw a meme or something today that said when we start to take the looters, when we start to take the looters out of politics or out of Nigeria or something, then our young people will understand that stealing is not a job. It's not a profession.
Right.
So we are nothing wrong with rich people spending their money. We see celebrities spending money every day. If you have money, spend it. But when we go to these extremes, we start to shift the bar. We start to raise it where young people start to think this is okay. And I think I've said it before. In other countries, nobody is trying to one-up Kim Kardashian and have a bigger wedding than she, unless you're in that game. In Nigeria, we don't have that kind of filter. Somebody next now is thinking, I have to top that one. It's going to be big. I mean, look at kids' birthday parties. It's become a jamboree. So what are we creating? Are we inadvertently creating the wrong thing? Again, this is not to say you can't bury, but what is the bigger message that is being passed, particularly when we talk about social media, where we see this flamboyance being passed around? I will not name the other famous big spender on social media. We know where he ended up. But we've had many of those as well.
We mentioned him.
Right. You know?
Well, Hush Puppy has been hushed.
The hush of the puppy category.
The hush has been hushed.
You know how these things ended up. We know how he ended up. There was the other guy. Who was the other one that was in the Forbes 30, top 30? Same thing. So we're seeing that, look, this drive to be the bigger, to be the better, to be the biggest spender, it's actually creating negative consequences. So where do we want to go?
But okay, so I was going to come to you. Wait, I was going to come to you because, I like what Uti said about, what impression and what it is that is, causing the ripple effect. Because even on social media yesterday, Yuli Joshi posted that he doesn't understand why people are asking him to go and show him where they do money rituals. Because as far as he's concerned, he's just a fantastic actor. So maybe he must have acted the role so well that it is believable that that he doesn't know where they do money rituals. So he's just an actor. Young people are going into their DMs and saying, "Please, I want to do this. I want to do that." So how do I get to this? So let me hear your thoughts, Issy. Then I'll come to Jennifer.
Okay. So for me, the question is flamboyance a sign of affluence in Nigeria? To an extent, it's relative. I think it's the thing about the culture, the people. Abroad, they have their own way of doing things and expressing themselves. Here, we have our own way of actually expressing ourselves. Now, the narrative we are passing across is another thing. Back then, in the days of old, maybe say in the 80s back then, we didn't have the social media out there to actually expose all of these flaws we had in our system or our culture. And how did this thing actually start? It started with the advent of musical videos which showed the white men or the rappers doling out money and with the monies on the babes and everything back then. So what do we have? We had to change the narrative. Now, coming back to our culture, everything we do in Nigeria, we go above whatever every other person does. We try to, do it in such a way that, we make a statement with it. And that is where Uti talked about the fact that when we go out there, we baby birthdays are getting out of hands, and it's like a jamboree for parents. And this is the culture, the mentality we've actually instilled in ourselves. So wherever we find ourselves, or whatever we try to do, we try to outdo the other, or try to say, oh, mine is better than yours. We are trying to be ostentatious in the way we do things, and it has gone beyond flamboyance, actually.
So you want to call this madness?
It's more than exuberance. It's not madness. It's just that we try to outdo each other, and in the process, we try to give the people or people around us the perception that we have made it. We are.
I didn't know made it
based on what we do, and that's why I also talked about the culture of the people, the way the Bransons or the Bill Gates and the Zuckerbergs, they do their thing. I mean, look at the way they were dressed. You know, they don't even, there is no one little diamond
designer or and all of that
on their body. But in Nigeria, it is our culture for us to, you know, express ourselves and dress to impress others. So that's my point. It's a thing about the culture and the people and the mindset. I'll come back. Let Jennifer say something. I have something on education as well.
Jennifer, let me come to you.
I love what everyone has said. Uzi took it from another angle, and Uzi also took it from a different angle. I think one thing we know is that Nigerians are synonymous to flamboyance. People in Nigeria basically want to show off. And the trend now is people are trying to outperform the other person.
Exactly.
I'm trying to show that I have way you do. Now, when how much is too much? I think when it looks like or it seems like you're doing way more good, then I think that's being too much. And seeing a precedent right now in the social, the young ones who are trying to come up are seeing other people who are doing. I want to say something, but I think that's for later, for somebody who's
bite of
call in and say something. but people go out there, you see events, you see people who are doing weddings for million, and at the end of the day, you actually borrowed money or you loaned money to act. The reason why you did this is because your friend who did a wedding did a wedding for 50 million, and because you have already given these people this perception about you, you've created this image about you, you've let them know that, so you have to live up to that expectation, and it's becoming too much because everywhere you go, where did Dorime, the song, where did he come? Popping bottles in the club, and half the time when you see the bills that these people are packing up at the end of the day, you're seeing people spending 10 million, 20 million for just alcohol, and it begs the question, where are you getting this money from? A friend of mine made a statement. She said the people at Oba are spending money, and I'm like, nope, they are not spending money, they are throwing away money. If you're actually spending money, you can account for everything that you have spent.
Exactly.
But when you throw away trash to you, you're basically just giving it out for nothing. We all watched the videos. We saw some of these things. And if you have actually watched it, your mouth will be open like, okay, is this actually happening? We've seen one or two people do it, and so where they ended up. But
okay,
mouth closed.
So I remember.
I don't know. I don't know. The truth is, with the way this trend is going, it's rubbing off the upcoming youths, people who are trying to make a life for themselves. But at the same time, as a person, you also have to look at what your goal is and what you want to do for yourself and what you want to achieve.
Everybody, I just want to hammer. That's the goal. Nobody has any vision. Nobody has any vision. Nobody has any dream. It's I just want to make money, and I'll make the money by all means necessary. Many years ago, the Esama one of Benin Kingdom, he used to call himself the Lucky Gbenedion's father. When he celebrated his birthday, I remember many years. I can't remember the name of the hotel now. I tried to Google it, but I couldn't find it. The name of the hotel where he booked an entire building. I think the Queen of England was sent an invite. The woman said, if we have people like this in Nigeria, Nigeria should not be asking for death relief. Because if this man can single-handedly book this entire, even I, that I'm the Queen of England, will not have the energy or the whatever, the liver to spend that much money. So this show of affluence has always been there from time immemorial. It's just that now social media is escalating and making it extremely difficult for young people to stay focused. They are just all about the money. They're all about the designer shoes, designer wears. I was saying to myself, we are farmers. We farm. And that's how we make our money. So imagine I would have planted palm tree for 5 years, waited for it to start fruiting, and I started gathering the oil small, and maybe I now made maybe like 100 million naira. I would just carry that 100 million naira and go and dump it on in a party. So it actually begs the question of where is the source of this money coming from? You know, nobody can tell me that I work hard for my money and I'll just go. The best I can do if I love you, I'll spray you 100K in the party. That's the best I can do. I can't spray beyond 100K. If people were bringing bundles of money, almost like, you know, it was almost nauseating to see the bundles of money that were being thrown, you know, the ones that were thrown in the air for people to, like you said, to carry. And like, it was just so distasteful. I cannot work hard for my money and spend it like that. I'm sorry. You know, I'm not saying that this is because some people have argued that EFCC should go. And in your story that you actually took, I think it was Jennifer's story. In the Punch, where the police kept mum on what's it called, on commenting on whether they were going to arrest the people that were spraying money. In that same story, the EFCC too, they were asked whether they would go and investigate the source of this person's money. EFCC say they cannot tell us, you know, like they can't divulge any information, you know. Whatever they want to do is going to be on the ground, and it's going to be silent. And if I may step in, so I wanted to just say that if EFCC, if Hush Puppy were to be in Nigeria, you know, do you think anything would have happened to him if he was not abroad? We celebrate some of these things, but you know what? Before you come, let me just quickly take a very short break. We'll come back. Then when we come back, we also want to open our phone lines, and I'll hear EC and the lady. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Now, if you just tune in, it's our ladies' night out, and we are asking how much flamboyance is too much. You know, as we review what happened over the weekend in Anambra State, in the place called Oba. The place I did not know existed before now. All right, so please let us hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-84663. Then our phone line is now open as well. Please, when you call, turn off the volume of your television set, you know, so we can hear each other, and try to keep your conversation within a minute. You can call us on 070-2500-7749. That's the number to call, 070-2500-7749. You know, some people are beating their chest that the man actually puts that place, that small village, whatever, in the map of the world. You know, so they are proud that he's the son of the soil. But let me hear your thoughts.
If I may step in, when you were talking about the fact that, you know, what he did in Oba, from the stories that came out after the funeral, was that he did not just, you know, bring out the people in Oba to, you know, give them fish. He actually taught them how to fish. He brought out individuals and helped them to boost their businesses. Not just one, not just two. Now, the difference between Hush Puppy and Cubana is the fact that Hush Puppy didn't have any source of livelihood. He couldn't show anything. But Cubana has different businesses.
He has hotels.
He has hotels. He has what's it called? He has clubs. And what he did was that he invested, and he gave the people the reign to actually do the business, and all they just had to do was to get back to him. I'm not siding him based on what has happened in Oba. What I'm actually saying is that, you know,
at least his business can be traced.
Yes,
but I will not also pick a story.
And his money is old money, because Oba, what's his name, Cubana, is not just, he didn't just start today. His father was a one-time, whatever, white man. He worked, so he has been with the government in one way or the other, or they've worked their way to where they are
Okay,
today.
let me take Frank from Abuja. I will answer you.
Yes.
Frank, are you there? Thank you for calling us.
Okay. Good evening.
Hi, Frank. Thank you. Let's hear what you have to say. You're live.
It's my first time of tuning into your channel. I didn't know your channel existed.
Welcome on board.
Welcome.
Yes, and I'm loving it.
Thank you.
But here is what I want to say. First, I'm an Igbo man, proud one. Secondly, most of the people there are people I know on person to person, and I know what some of them do. Their work is legit. And what you saw there is solidarity. These are friends who went to support a friend who has always been there for them. I've been in several programs, not only in Oba. I've been in some programs in Lagos, where a few of them, that day I was so shocked. It was in Lekki, and it was the birthday of one of their a child. The child to one of their friends had a birthday, and I was in Lagos, so one of my friends took me there. And I saw every who celebrity there. And when it was time for dance, for a baby, the same thing you saw in Oba took place. In Lekki, it is solidarity.
I understand, Frank, I understand solidarity. My question to you, Frank, is why would you have to do it in that level of flamboyance, knowing the state of the country, you understand, where we have young people that are not knowing this thing that you're talking about, the source of their money, and all they're thinking of is how they want to, and we are seeing more and more young people going into crime just because they want to have that kind of lifestyle.
Okay, now I want to ask you a question. Why would we be interested in imagining what the young people would think about Obi Cubana when we've not thought about what young people are saying about politicians?
Okay, that's a valid argument.
Who are sitting on national economy, messing it up? During campaign, don't you see politicians throw money away? How many of them have been prosecuted? Don't you see pictures recently? Yeah, bunch of funds we are brought up and we are shared, and they called it whatever they call them.
Thank you, Frank.
Money that we are not
Thank you so much, Frank.
Government money.
Thank you
I don't want to get into politics.
Thank you, Frank. Let me come to Uti.
So again, let's not make this out to be that he didn't have a right to bury his mother. You can argue and say, oh, he didn't spend the money, it was his friends that spent the money. There's so many ways to talk about it. You can also, Frank had a great point, you can also say, well, if our politicians get away with it, then why are we focused on a businessman? All well and good. I mean, all very valid points. The measure of wealth, one thing that it showed to me, and it's not something that I just found out today, but what it constantly shows to me is that money is doing the wrong thing in Nigeria.
Absolutely. Uti, hold that thought. Let me take Namdi from Enugu. Igbo people are calling today. Namdi, thank you for calling us.
Thank you very much.
You're live.
Yes. So can you hear me?
Yes, we can, loud and clear.
Okay, interesting. I'm actually a first-time caller.
Thank you for calling.
You're welcome. So my take there is, I think I want to delve into, the private businesses that he's in and stuff like that, because I know Obi Cubana is a legitimate businessman.
Yeah.
Now, come to think about it, the monies that were displayed there did not come from the commercial bank. They all came from the CBN.
CBN.
Main patch, wrapped with cellophane, all through, from the CBN. Now, of which part did they get the money? Do you understand me?
Yeah.
I want you to look at it from that perspective. Now, in Igbo land, we have a pool of support or whoever that lost his father or his mother or any relative of such sort.
Culture and tradition.
We have people that we call committees of friends. This young man lost his mother. The only thing he did was just to call his friends, notify them about his mother's death. And then I went behind the scenes to create a pool of funds for him. I don't know if you are aware that this guy is donated close to 4-something million naira. Are you aware of that? Beautiful.
Thank you.
Now, this is
He's just started.
outright content. Someone he made, someone he contributed positively in his life, donated 46 cows. Likening it to his number of age. Do you understand it?
Thank you, Nnamdi. Nnamdi, thank you so much. Sorry, we actually have a very short time. But Uti, can you quickly finish your thoughts? Let me come to Jennifer.
Then you come to me.
Yes,
I'll just wrap it up very quickly. Look, the reality of it is we can have so many people call in and say it's legitimate, it's not legitimate. You can argue it. But the point is, we have a lot of money in this country that is not doing the right thing. Whether it's in the hands of the politicians, whether it's in the hands of the super wealthy, we have this culture that places money in the wrong things. You have all this wealth. I mean, from what I've been told and what I understand, people from Anambra are very resourceful. They make fantastic entrepreneurs. They tend not to want to work. So again, with that, I expect that if you take away the government, you should see a lot of, what's it called now? A lot of development in that state. You know, if your government won't do it for you, then all this wealth channeled into creating more wealth, creating more young people. And I know that's what they're saying, that, oh, he's helped a lot of people and he's done all of that. It's great. I'm simply saying, can we use this money in ways that doesn't just focus on people being extravagant?
Thank you, Uti. Thank you. Thank you.
The wrong picture about
Absolutely.
Us as
Thank you. I'm gonna, and that was what I wanted to answer Isi on. But let me take Dami, I believe from Ibadan or Ogun State. Hi, Dami.
Hello.
Thank you for calling. Quickly, let's hear what you have to say.
All right, I'm a first-time caller, so this is Dami from Ogun State.
Thank you.
I don't want to go the tribalistic way, and it's none of my business to query the source of wealth of someone. I leave that to EFCC and other agencies. I also cannot determine how you spend your money or dictate how you spend your money. But now let's look at it from this issue. In a sane climb, this guy should be facing the law by now. There is an existing law, don't abuse the currency. And again, you see, globally people display their wealth. You can, expensive vehicles, expensive hotels, expensive stuff. So display of wealth is not until you start spraying money. You see, throwing money into the water, spraying it into the air, and people rushing. I mean, to me, that is childish. We have the people like Tony Elumelu, Cosmos Maduka. All these guys are Igbo guys too. Have you ever seen them done that? Dangote or Tedola, you'll never see them do that. Even if they want to lavish, they would rather do it in a private yacht on the lagoon or somewhere where everything that they've done will never get to the media. Now, read comments of the young ones. People are even saying, if this guy is a ritualist, it's good rituals he did. They want to do the same thing.
Absolutely.
Some people will say, is he a university graduate? He's not educated, blah, blah. Of course, I know he's a graduate. But people would say, it's all about money. You know, so mammon. It's driving the whole thing. We have to be very careful.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dami. Let me come to Jennifer quickly. The phone lines are buzzing. Really. Jennifer, are you there? Or did we lose Jennifer?
Take the phone.
Okay.
Take the call.
Uti, you have a comment with you, then Isi as well. Quickly, let's take those comments.
All right.
right, so this one comes from Ade. It says, good evening, ladies. The party at Oba has political backing. I do understand that the state police inspector was at the party, so spending money like this is our culture than helping the needy amongst us. Even the roads leading to the village were horrible, yet private jets landed guests at the airport. People in power have done such in the past and still doing it now, so who arrests who?
Okay, let me take Abdul Kaval from Gombe State. Thank you for calling us, Abdul Gafar. Are you there? Let's hear what you have to say. Okay, I think we lost him. Okay, Isi, you have a comment.
This is from Austin from Delta State. He says, Uyi, I don't know, I think he meant Uwa.
Or Uti.
Or Uti. And what, I think it's Uwa. Uwa, you can see from the conversation this evening that we have a long way to go on mind shift trajectory
that we discussed yesterday.
So I totally agree with, yeah?
Let me quickly take Jermaine.
Jermaine.
From Onitsha. Today, not today.
Today.
Jermaine from Onitsha, are you there? You're live. Let's hear what you have to say.
Okay. So actually what I want to say is this. Remember that this guy is a show businessman. He's a show promoter. I'm very sure you've seen him on series of videos, musical videos, owned by Flavor and Tino. I don't know if you're aware of that.
Yes.
He's a club owner. He owns club where celebrities come. Okay, let me now remind you a little bit. This guy's mother's burial took place the same day Whiskey had his birthday. And he shut down the fan base of Whiskey. So I want you to look at it from the slight perception.
Okay.
Now, every individual has his right to spend his money.
Oh, yes. Nobody's arguing that.
Lovely. Now, secondly, EFCC do not delve into an arrest. There must be a procedure, probably emanating from petition. There must be a petition from himself against an individual before EFCC goes to arrest. So now, let's now see the content of a petition from whoever that is comfortable petitioner. I don't know if you get it.
Yes, thank you so much, Emily.
Nigerians should not forget about what happened in Oba and see it as one of those carnivals that would showcase Nigeria in the global climb.
But you know, say Igbo people, Jermaine, una like, it's in your blood. But let me come.
It's not just Igbo people, it's all Nigerians.
No, Igbo people have
extra.
Igbo people have a specialty for money, like ego.
Extra. They have extra.
But quickly,
if Nigerians are ordinary, Igbos are extraordinary when it comes to money. So I think it's essential. We get that. What Austin said about the mind shift thing, that was where I was going to. I said earlier that I was going to talk about education. Now, education is one thing. We go to school, we have the normal whatever. But the thing is, have we been properly schooled when we go to school? Do we actually have we imbibed, what we're supposed to learn? Because education is when you have learned something and there is a shift in your mindset.
Because I think, so there was a question I posed at the second half to say that, is the show of flamboyance a sign of affluence or a sign of poverty? The show of flamboyance, is it a sign of affluence or a sign of poverty?
Culture.
No, because for me, I think because I don't have to. Now, when you hear the figures on this spaceship travels that these people went to, $25 million, it is in millions of dollars, right? And yet, they are not spraying money and all of that. So that I have to show, and it's the same thing we wear a designer brand from crown of our head to the sole of our feet to show,
Deception.
But let me take Ibrahim from Kwara State. Thank you for calling. We have a lot of first-time callers today.
Yeah, good evening.
Thank you for calling. Let's hear what you have to say.
Thank you. Yes, what I have to say on this matter. You see, the way the money is being spent in that party, if you look at from a religion point of view, both religions condemn it. the way what is happening in the country nowadays is condemning. Nobody can do work, sweat,
and spend money
in that way. It's very wrong. It's not encouraging.
Thank you.
Compared to what is going on in the country now.
Absolutely.
Whether he work for his money or not, the way he spend it is wrong.
You know, and that was where, thank you so much, Ibrahim, and that was where I came from when we started the conversation to say that the level of poverty in Nigeria, you know, there's a way you would look that it will become like almost a sin to your neighbor that is hungry. Look at what Uti said. People are actually looking for, it's not even 1,000 naira, 500 naira to feed.
I took a story of somebody who died because of 1,000
naira yesterday. You know, so people are actually looking for money to feed their family. So when I just want, for me, if this conversation would mean anything to me, it would mean us trying to change our mindset of what we think affluence should look like, flamboyance should look like. It should not be. Yes, we've done all of these things all these years, but it should not continue like this. But I think we have Nnamdi again from Aba, or another Nnamdi. Sorry, that should be our final call for today. Nnamdi, are you there?
I still have one point we haven't talked about.
We might do a part two, don't worry.
On Thursday.
Okay, quickly.
Okay, my take is this, that, you know, when you talked about, what's it called? Nah,
are you losing your thoughts? Okay, Uti, let me come to you. Your final thoughts on this, while you gather your thoughts.
Spend your money how you want to spend it. But we need to shift our culture from understanding that having money, when you look at the Bill Gates of the world, when you look at the Jeff Bezos of the world, when you look at the Mark Zuckerbergs, they're simple men. Very simple men. When you see people who are covered head to toe in Gucci, as opposed to somebody who's wearing regular black pants and white t-shirts, where the white t-shirt could probably be $1,000, you don't know. And you could be wearing a watch you've never heard of that probably costs more than your entire house.
Exactly.
You know, that's how.
And funny enough, Uti, there are very silent designer brands that are much more expensive than all the ones that we think we know. You know? Yeah, but let me take Okafor, Abi, from Delta State. Thank you for calling.
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate your discussions, especially my very first to come to your station.
Thank you.
I'm highly impressed.
Thank you.
I don't want to talk much. The truth of the matter is that there is no moral justification for what happened in Cubana mother's burial.
Thank you.
And I believe, and I have been agitating that more praying should be abolished in Nigeria. Yeah, I heard some of you talk about culture. Culture can be transformed. Culture practice over time is called tradition.
Yes.
Tradition can be amended. Traditions can be abolished. Take, for instance, Christmas. Christmas was someone's culture in Rome, that is the Romans. But they thought it wise. Let us not worship the sun god anymore. Now that we have a savior, let us give this day for the honor of the Savior as the birthday of the Savior. And it was changed. It's only in Nigeria we don't study things and make some amendments.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Okafor. Sadly, we have to run. Let me quickly take two comments here. Rafael Akori from Zaria says, this is display of African primitivity.
Yes.
Then somebody now says, please, on a quick one, the level of poverty in the country is one side. If you actually have money, there are a lot of people that need medical attention, that need 13 to 14 million kidney transplant and such things. Help people instead. But you know what? We're going to bring a part two because we've run out of time. Thank you so much. Thank you, Uti. Thank you, Isi. Thank you, Jennifer. Now, in case you missed today's quote, because we don't even have time for other things, here it is again. You see, the problem with me is I am so good, even my friends think I am doing something wrong. Flair and flamboyance is not illegal. It may be detestable, it may be offensive, but it's not illegal. But we are asking that you just use a bit of consideration when you do things. We'll see you tomorrow at 8 p.m. as we bring another great conversation to your screen. Enjoy.